What is up, everybody? This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast hosted by yours truly, Michael Roscoe. And welcome to episode 49, the season 1 finale of Second and 15. I honestly can't believe that we've made it this far. 95% of podcasts, according to one statistic, doesn't make it past 5 episodes. So to get to 49 is absolutely insane. And I thank all of you for joining me each and every week, being so accommodating and understanding with my schedule and all that stuff. Your support is I'm truly grateful for it all. We got a cool show for you tonight. But before we get into all of that, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to not only the Second and 15 YouTube channel, but also the Old City Sports Network, as that is who we are presented by. Wonderful podcast network. So feel free to show them love on YouTube with that like and subscribe. Follow and like us on social media, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify for the streaming services. Give us support on all of that. That'd be much appreciated. All right. Like I said, we got a great show for you tonight. We got some NFL news, a little bit of random pieces this time about, as well as the Eagles discussion, which we always do. And if y'all saw my promo video, you know how heated I've been when it comes to this Jalen Hurts disrespect, but that's going to be something we get into later this evening. So let's go right on ahead into that NFL news. So starting off with a little bit of somber news, over the weekend, the Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans, and the rest of the NFL community mourned the passing of Super Bowl champion wide receiver Jacoby Jones. He had passed away. The official cause of death has not been made public, at least recently. Fans and players, coaches, members of the community took to the NFL or took to social media to provide their condolences, thoughts and prayers. Just, another sad occurrence that happens in the NFL world, unfortunately. We're thinking of him and his family. He's survived by his wife and son. He was just 40 years old at the time of his passing. In other NFL news, is Brandon Ayuk no longer a 49er? So we recently got some information that Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers could not reach an agreement upon a trade deal, or not a trade deal, a contract extension, and he has requested a trade. Now, I don't get why you wouldn't have a contract extension for your number one wide receiver. Maybe they're paying Christian McCaffrey too much money. Not 100% sure. But there's been rumors that Ayuk may land with our division rival, the Washington Commanders. But we don't know for sure where he'll land. If he'll land anywhere, he might bite the bullet and accept the contract at the 49ers. But for his value, I doubt that is going to happen. So that is a blow to the 49ers. And as long as he doesn't land in our division, I think I'll be okay. You may hear some thunderstorm rumbling in the background. I apologize. All right, our last bit of NFL news before we dive into our Eagles talk is Jordan Addison, wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, was recently arrested this past weekend on suspicion of DUI. He was arrested by Los Angeles Police Department outside of LAX for suspicions of driving under the influence shortly before midnight on Friday night, and he was released about 2 hours later. This comes just about a week or so after his rookie teammate passed away in a car accident in which alcohol was the suspected to be a factor within the crash. Not that the two are related in any way at all, but come on, Jordan. This isn't the first time. Last year, Jordan Addison was arrested for reckless driving charges, doing 140 in a 55. Yeah, because that's responsible. Um, I feel like a lot of DUI reckless driving shit has just been coming about recently. I know Jalen Carter for the Eagles was a member of that situation or within that group of people doing dumb shit like this. But don't drive under the influence, y'all. You have millions of dollars, millions of dollars. I think you can afford an Uber or a Lyft. All right. Anyway, before we get into that NFL news, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. We are so close. I'm telling y'all, we are so close to the start of the regular season. I can almost taste it. While you're waiting and trying to satisfy that hunger, go ahead and pick up yourself some Righteous Felon craft jerky with awesome flavors, OG Hickory, Teriyaki Balboa, Soul Survivor, you name it. Go on to righteousfelon.com and use our promo code OCSN, all lowercase, for 15% off of your order, and orders over $50 will receive free shipping, or pick some up at your local Wawa. That's what I've been doing lately, is getting some Righteous Felon at the Wawa down the street from me. And while you're waiting for regular season, let alone the preseason to start, you might want to find some tickets for those, as I imagine they'll sell out fast, as well as tickets for your favorite comedy show, music event, other sports event, whatever the case is, and satisfies your entertainment needs. You'll definitely want to get tickets for that special event of your choice. And for that, you'll need SeatGeek. Head on over to SeatGeek.com or download the app on your smartphone to get tickets and use promo code Old City Sports Network, all one word with E at the end of old, for $20 off of your purchase. And additionally, if you can't make it to your event, SeatGeek will credit you towards your next event. But before you head out to those events, you want to make sure that you are looking fresh. And for my fellas out there, you're definitely going to want to make sure that your beard is looking absolutely fresh, clean, and groomed. And for that, you'll want to use the products over at Warlord Beard Oil. So head on over to warlordbeardoil.com and use our promo code OLDSPORTS, old with an E at the end in all capital letters, for 15% off of your beard oils, washes, soaps, lotions, apparel, beard care tools, you name it, and orders over $75 will receive free shipping. And finally, don't forget to support the network that brings you Second and 15, as well as other shows such as The Living Room Show, Quit Chasing, Check the Net, Flyers Alley, and more by heading on over to oldcitysports.com and use our promo code ticking at the bottom of the screen so that you can get 15% off of your merchandise. And for those watching, that promo code is Old City, all capital letters and E at the end of it, for 15% off of your order. So head on over to oldcitysports.com. Get some Second and 15 swag. I have a sweatshirt. We have things like water bottles, camping mugs, glassware, you name it. Head on over and support your favorite Eagles channel. All right, y'all. Let's cut to the chase and go on into that Eagles discussion. So, our first topic point of the night, the NFL released their prediction of the full Eagles preview for the 2024 season. Basically, they released this for a bunch of teams, the NFL channel and YouTube. For those who don't basically for their total ceiling and floor wins. For those who don't know what I mean, basically they're predicting the worst and best case scenarios for the Philadelphia Eagles going into the 2024 season. To make a long story short, the video takes into consideration the strength of the offense in the first 11 games from this past season, plus the collapse in the last 6 games or last 7 games, questionable coordinating decisions from 2023, the switches going into 2024, the acquisition of free agents such as Saquon Barkley, you name it. They're taking just a multitude of factors from last year as well as ones from this year, especially the draft, and basically given a worst and best case scenario outcome. So the worst case scenario, or the Eagles' floor record, they said that the worst that they think they'll do is that the Eagles will go 11-6, I believe it was 11-6 or 10-7, but I think it was 11-6. And the best case scenario prediction was that the Eagles would go 14-3. They did not say if they would be the number 1 seed in the NFC with that record or not, or any division wins or anything like that. But that was their prediction, a 14-3 record for the ceiling. Now, are either of these situations possible? Of course. I think with what we've been doing this off season, plus with the struggles we had from the previous season, there's equal opportunity for either one of those records to be possible for the Eagles. However, I would love it to see that 14-3. Do I think that we will get to 14-3? I don't think so. I think honestly we are more of kind of the middle ground. I think we'll have a middle ground record in between those two. I'm thinking we'll go like 12-5 or 13-4. I think honestly that's pretty realistic for the powerhouse we have as an offense and the complete rehaul of the secondary that we did. We still don't know about the James Bradbury situation, what's going to come of that. I know he was a big liability last season. There's been talks about him going to safety and maybe not even starting on the defense at all, but we don't know for sure. I feel like I haven't heard a lot about James Bradbury recently. But in either one of those situations that they predicted, the Eagles would go to the playoffs. So the 10-6 with the playoff, or the 11-6 with the playoff berth, it's not a bad worst case scenario in my opinion. But what do you all think? Go ahead and leave some comments on any of the social media or the stream right now. Let me know what you think that the Eagles' total record is going to be this year. Obviously, I'll do game predictions when those come about. But we'll dive into that later on as the season occurs. All right, my last topic for tonight. The Hurts disrespect hurts. I know I feel like this is kind of redundant a little bit, but it just keeps fucking happening, y'all. I'm getting heated if you can't tell. And here's the reason what kind of made me talk about it again tonight is that over the weekend, 2 big lists came out. One of them was the top 5 QBs in the NFC conference, and the other was the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Not fantasy, not clutch, just this list was top quarterbacks. The NFC quarterback list was according to executives, coaches, and scouts throughout the NFL in both conferences, and the top 10 overall quarterback list was from NFL insiders. So let's dive on into this real quick. I'm going to start with the NFC QB list off who they have as the top, give my opinion, and then again, let me know what y'all think about this. So here we go. With the top 5 NFC quarterbacks, they listed in sequential order with number 1, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and Jordan Love. Notice somebody who's left off of that list? I do, because it's Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry, but only 2 of these QBs have taken their team to a Super Bowl. 3 of them have taken them to an NFC championship. And I'm not sorry about this one, but there is no way that Brock Purdy and Jordan Love are better than Jalen Hurts. There's not enough statistical evidence to me to prove that Brock Purdy and Jordan Love are better than Jalen Hurts. It's absolutely outrageous. Did Jordan Love have a good season? Yes. Look at his records. Look at his stats in the previous 2 seasons before, where he was kind of starting, not starting, kind of all over the place, whatever you want to call it. They were not good. And yeah, I just don't think the sample size proves to me that Brock Purdy and Jordan Love are better than Jalen Hurts. I don't think that, and I don't believe that. I'm not upset that Matthew Stafford is at the top. He's taken his team to a Super Bowl and gotten them a win. So that to me, I can respect, you know? And he's tough as shit, played with like a broken collarbone like early in his career or some shit like that, broken shoulder, dislocated something, and won them the game. So he's got balls. So I respect that. And I can respect and understand the ideas of Jared Goff and Dak Prescott being on that list. But for fuck's sake, none of them have gotten their teams to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff got his team to an NFC championship, but he was just shy of getting them to a Super Bowl. And if that is the reason that Brock Purdy is on that list because he got the he got the 49ers to a Super Bowl, there is no reason at all why Jalen Hurts did not make that list. Hurts made it to a Super Bowl and arguably outplayed Patrick Mahomes and broke three Super Bowl records despite losing the game. And I know damn well that Jalen Hurts in Super Bowl 57 played a lot better than Brock Purdy did against Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl 58. That's facts. You know, you can argue it with me all day, but that's facts. It's just infuriating. I understand that at this very moment, especially with all the shit that happened last year, that Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback right now, like he was in 2022. But to not be a top 5 quarterback in the NFC, that absurd, idiotic, disrespectful. All 3 of those words and more. I don't get it. But anyway, moving on to the NFL Insider list. This is the top 10 quarterback list. I know there was a list that had Jalen Hurts, I think, as number 2 in top fantasy quarterbacks. And then there was a list that had Jalen Hurts top 3 clutch, or a list where Jalen Hurts was number 3 in terms of clutch quarterbacks. And those I can agree with and understand. And I think a lot of people could too. You know, anyone who gets Jalen Hurts on their fantasy is going to rack up some points. That's guaranteed, you know, unless he's injured. But just for context, on this list last year, after he got his team to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was ranked the 6th top quarterback. 6th. And this is after his MVP style season and breaking 3 Super Bowl records, and he was ranked 6th. So that alone should tell me how bogus this fucking list is in general. But I digress. You're going to see the usuals at the top of this list this year. You know, your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allen, your Joe Burrow, etc. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, you know, all those people. From a pure playability standpoint, though, he should be on this top 10 list somewhere between 7 and 9 right now. That's the very least that I can believe, is that he should be between 7 and 9 on this list. According to SB Nation, here are some reasons that he fell outside of this top 10 list. One NFC exec said he was playing hurt. He wasn't the same runner, and he had a hard time throwing the ball. One AFC scout said he'll always be in that 7 to 12 range, depending on his yearly productivity. What the fuck does that even mean? Anyone can be anywhere depending on productivity. That's such a vague ass statement. But anyway, Jeremy Fowler, the conductor of this survey, stated injuries and bad offense were the reason that he landed outside of the top 10. People did not shut up for weeks, including myself, about his knee injury that he suffered in the middle of the season and ultimately played with for like multiple games at a time. Reporters were talking about how he's playing with this bum knee for multiple games. They should have had it checked out, whatever. That's in the past. But okay, so if you're telling me that injuries and bad offense, which to me was the fault of mainly the coordinator, you're telling me that those two reasons land him outside the top 10 around that 12 range. So if he didn't have a bum knee and he didn't have questionable play calling from a bonehead coordinator, where would he land on that list? I'm honestly curious. Where would he land? Would he be in that top 10? I think he would. And I think Jeremy probably thinks so too. Anyway, now don't get me wrong. I know Hurts is not on the tier 1 level that Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott are advertised as right now. Some of those guys deservingly so. And I know that Jalen Hurts has not had a season with 30 passing touchdowns yet. He has only been a starting QB for a full season for 3 seasons. Trust the process. For context, it took Dak Prescott 4 full seasons to have a 30 touchdown passing season. And he has yet to get his team to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen has hovered in the 14 or more interception range for 3 consecutive seasons, and his number of passing touchdowns has decreased every year over the past 4 years, and he has yet to get his team to a Super Bowl. Justin Herbert had count it, where's my camera? 1 year with 38 passing touchdowns, but then dipped to just 25 and 20 in the 2 seasons after that. And he has yet to get his team to a Super Bowl. And even with an injured knee and terrible / predictable play calling, he still put up 15 rushing touchdowns. People can bitch that they were tush pushes. Not all of them were. And also, again, if it was easy, your QB could do it, but he fucking can't. And he got his team to the playoffs. 3 full years of starters got his team to the playoffs every single year, got to the Super Bowl one of those years. And over those 3 years, he has increased the number of both rushing and passing touchdowns every single year. And in 2 of those 3 years, saw 9 or less interceptions. Now, okay. Think about this. All those stats, all those things I said about Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, they're in that top 10, but Jalen Hurts is not. Let that sink in. What do y'all think? Am I being irrational, or is this disrespect actually happening? Now, before I give my conclusion on these lists, I will say one thing that I do like about this list, and it's going to piss off some San Francisco 49ers fans. So here it is. Brock Purdy was also left off the top 10 and was given some interesting labels. One NFC exec said he's a very good system quarterback. He's good at buying time with his legs, but that won't win you games. And was also labeled a game manager by other members of the committee that made this list. So basically, Brock Purdy being a game manager and a system quarterback was the reasons he was left off of the top 10. Huh. Isn't that what a lot of 49ers fans said about Jalen Hurts? Funny how the tables have turned on that. And I know what their response to this will be, because this is the only response they can give anytime an Eagles fan criticizes the 49ers fans, which is they'll respond with, 42-19. And my response to that is 31-7. Okay. But anyway, in conclusion, what I take from all this is that to an extent, these lists are bullshit and hypocritical in some areas. Fuck these lists. We don't need these lists to tell us how the QBs are going to be, what ranking they're going to be. They will prove that by the work they do on the field. The work will be shown on the field, plus all this disrespect, plus the major moves in leadership, practice, determination, you name it, that Jalen Hurts has made over the offseason. He will prove all of these guys wrong. All this disrespect towards him and the worship of these other quarterbacks who are not that far off from Jalen Hurts realistically is just adding fuel to the fire for a massive comeback. I trust the process, and so should y'all. We must have faith in our quarterback. Despite what bullshit comes from the media, we must have faith in our quarterback. He will prove all the doubters wrong yet again, and I am confident he will get to that Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Prescott level conversation. Either that or he'll exceed it. And I'm hoping that it's the latter. All right, y'all. That is all of my topic points for tonight. And with season 1 coming to an end, I just wanted to thank everyone who has helped me on this journey. We started this podcast last August with the intent of starting just a hobby about a team that I've been passionate about for pretty much my entire life. Since August of 2023, we've created nearly 50 episodes, created multiple social media accounts, had guests, added video to the show, reached audiences across 4 continents, 15 or so countries, and joined a network, that being the Old City Sports Network, while obtaining sponsorships from Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, Warlord Beard Oil, and SeatGeek. I'm just in awe of how much this show has grown over this past 11 months, almost a year. And I am so thankful for the support that I've received from fans, from loved ones, as well as the opportunities that have come my way so far. I'm so looking forward to season 2. Don't worry, that's actually starting next week. um, and all that it'll bring. You know, I'm marking the start of training camp next week as the beginning of season 2. The Eagles will report to the NovaCare complex on July 23rd, both rookies and veterans. So that week will mark the beginning of season 2 of the show. And hopefully that comes with more opportunities, including more video, more guests, some interviews, whatever opportunities come across my way. I am here for it, and I hope you all will continue to be as well. But more importantly, I'm so excited to keep bringing you content about the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you all so much for an amazing inaugural season, and I'll see you next week for season 2. As always, stay fly like an eagle and go birds.